Hi everybody, this is Heather with Ohio Bento, and I'm back here again to show you how I set up my bullet journal for April. I didn't take video of actually drawing the lines because it's very similar, if not completely the same as my last month's video, which I'll link to up in the top right hand corner. For April, my main goal is to simplify my routine, and simplifying my routine also means simplifying my bullet journal. My March spread ended up being a little bit busy on the page. The lines were just a little too thick, the color lines were a little too thick, everything was a little too dark, just a little too intense. So for April, I really want to work on simplification. Simplifying not only my actual routine, but also the look of my bullet journal. I've taken a lot of inspiration from a few Instagrammers who are absolutely brilliant at minimalism and having a minimalistic type bullet journal. I've always appreciated minimalism, but I'm horrible at it. So what I tend to strive for more than minimalism is a clean simplicity. Clean, modern, and simple. Those are my three goals. I chose a nice pretty purple plaid print for the monthly dashboard washi tape edges. I thought it added a lot of nice color. One big change from my monthly spread is not doing all of the banners and borders and boxes that I did in March. So for example, this is my March monthly spread. I've got the banner, I have a box where it has my focus goal for the month, and I used my micron pens for all of the writing, so I got a pretty nice, decent, thick line, which I really enjoyed in March. But for April, I want things to be a little bit thinner, a little bit simpler, a little less busy. So I got rid of the banner and just went with basic cursive, and I got rid of the border box around the focus goal up front, and I've also switched to using completely, rather than my micron pens and my Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, I'm now going to be using these Pilot High-Tech C mica pens all month. I'm going to use them for color and for my writing. My black pen is actually the 0.4 millimeter fine, whereas the rest of the colors are the 0.3 millimeter. So they give a nice, thin, crisp, colorful line. This is my monthly memories page, which I'll fill in as the month goes on. I changed the style of the header from the banners to a more just simple written form. I also changed a good bit on the tracker, not in the content, but in the style of the tracker. You can really see the evolution of my habit trackers going from February to March to April. In February, I filled in all the little dots to make the grid darker. I had a lot of numbers in here, so it was very busy, very thick lined, and I didn't care for it at all. So in March, I simplified a little, got rid of the big header, got rid of all the dots, made the lines a little bit thinner, but still for April, I want to simplify even further, and instead of doing all of the hashes, I'm just going to do colored dots in the center of each task as it gets accomplished. I'm also not doing the drawn lines to designate week to week, because I think it'll make it look a little bit cleaner. So this is my baby weight and wellness trackers from March. Again, the content is fantastic. I like having it. I want to continue to use it. I just want to make it look a little bit different for April. One of the reasons I want to get rid of all of the hash lines and use a thinner pen for the color is right here. As I use my fine liners, I'm noticing that the tips are getting a little bit broader as they're getting used, and they're putting down a little more ink, and they're starting to bleed through. Now these are actually water splashes because I left my bullet journal out on the kitchen counter and it got a couple of little water splashes on it, and everything bled, and it bled straight through. So there's nothing I can do about that, but I can make this a little bit better next month. So I've planned out my two baby weight and wellness graphs. I like the header on the baby weight. I completely messed up on the wellness tracker header. When I calculated out how many spaces that I needed, I put the wrong L in the center, and this should have been a blank. It should have been well, and then NESS, and I just completely got it off center. For March, I have my smile log, again, big header, did the banner, thick micron pens, Whereas for April, I put it towards the back, made a much simpler header, and I'm going to be using the mica pens to make the lines a little thinner. And the same thing in March, the brain dump and next month page on the big headers and big thick pens. So here I've got my brain dump, and instead of doing the next month page, I've actually eliminated that. I went ahead and put the Plan With Me challenge page here. This is what it looked like in March. This is it for April. I got rid of the next month page because I'm finding that a few months into bullet journaling, the amount of things I want to change is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's much easier for me to remember what I want to change and what I want to do. And so I didn't find as much of a need for it this next month. If that changes, there's enough space in my March that I can go ahead and mark it off and use half of that page. Some other big changes coming to my bullet journal for April is the style of my dailies. This is how I was doing my daily spreads in March. Give you a quick flip through. A couple of dailies here, an Everyday Adventures page. The content is fantastic. I found it all very useful. I want to keep all of the content. But every day, drawing the boxes, making the lines, drawing the banners, drawing these boxes, doing my wellness tracker with a stamp and stamping ink and getting out a ruler and drawing the lines, it was just a little bit too much. In an effort for simplification, I'm keeping the content, I'm just changing the format, and I'm making it a little bit easier for me to use. So I've started practicing at the end of March. If you follow me on Instagram or on my blog, you've already seen this page. This was a page where I was figuring out how I wanted to do my wellness tracker and my daily banners. I've been implementing it for a couple of days now, and I absolutely love it. It's a lot simpler, a lot easier. It takes me a lot less time. And since the lines are finer by using the mica pens, I find that it's a lot less busy, and I like the look of it better. It's more calm, more serene. And what I've started doing, if you're interested, this is one of the perforated pages from the back of the Leuchtturm notebook. As I'm writing things down on the go, I don't want to have to wait for my pens to dry. So I use this as basically my blotting sheet, and I put it in there so that when I close my notebook, it'll get this page dirty, which I can eventually throw away, and it won't mess up the opposite page. So far this layout is working out really well for me. I'm going to continue it into April. I still get my tracker. So I'm simplifying it rather than having a big graph where I have to stamp something and draw a bunch of lines. Every half of a box equals 1. So for happiness, I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For calmness, I have a 7. Fulfillment, I have a 6. Physical health, I have an 8. Energy, another 6. And it also makes it a lot easier to total. Since I have 5 scores, I know that this first row is 5, then 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31, 32, and 33. So I don't even have to add up a bunch of numbers. I can just count how many full rows do I have and then add on the little extras. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found it a little bit useful. And thank you for watching. Happy journaling, happy crafting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!